So I thought it would be fun to do a ligature review, so here we go. I have various ligatures here. I'm just going to play on them and maybe talk a little bit about how I feel about them. They're all great ligatures, so here we go. This one is a Selmer ligature. It's made out of beryllium metal. It's really cool, like this one. This one is a Charles Bay ligature. Kind of looks like a jewel. I really like it. This one is a Rico H Ligature. Give this a listen. This one is called a brancher. This one is a bonade. This one is an inverted bonade. This one is an Eddie Daniels Rogner. This is a Silverstein ligature. So I just want to talk a little bit about how I feel about some of these ligatures. This ligature is a summer ligature that I mentioned earlier. They don't make this kind of metal for ligatures anymore. I think due to the metal and health hazards in the factory. But this is the type of metal like Benny Goodman used back in the day, and I feel like it has this warm, sophisticated sound. It's pretty cool. A good friend of mine let me borrow it. It's really cool. This one is a Charles Bay. My dear friend Steven let me borrow it, and it's really pretty. It kind of looks like a jewel, and it's the metal is very light. It's made out of rhodium, and when I play it, I feel like it's very free blowing, yet there's like this warm core sound to it. It's really nice. I think that you have to be really careful with these ligatures because since they're really thin, it's easy for you to bend them in the wrong way. This one is a Rico H Ligature. What I really liked about this ligature is that the lower notes really pop. They're really great. The only thing is, I wouldn't say that it's even throughout the registers. I feel like some notes are a little bit more pinched. But I like how the notes really pop in the lower register, but it's not really even throughout. That's just my opinion. This is a brancher. My friend Steven let me try it. As you can tell, this wire is really thin, so it minimizes the contact with the mouthpiece. And this is a pretty cool ligature. It's a very warm sound. It has this core to it, yet it's very free. It's very free sounding. By free sounding, I don't mean it's all over the place, but you can really push it. You can put more into the sound. That's how I feel about this ligature. There is a certain resistance to it, but I feel like the resistance is just enough so you can put more into your sound. It's pretty cool. This is a non-inverted bonade. My friend Brian let me borrow it. You might wonder, why is this a screw right here? And he actually did this because he thought a heavier screw the weight would give more roundness to the sound. And yeah, I think it does do that. I've switched out the screws and it does really make a difference. So I would say don't be afraid to try this out. Try to experiment. This ligature, the inverted bonade, it's a ligature I used throughout my development as a clarinetist. It's really great in my opinion because you can really hear everything that you're doing. And I would say that it's a really good ligature to start off on, and it's also good to play on just in general. And then this, I always was curious about the Eddie Daniels Rogner because I'm a big fan of Eddie Daniels, and but I knew that this ligature was not sold anymore. They discontinued it. I think they have like a newer version, like the Versa X or something. But luckily, I had a friend who had this in her possession, and she didn't play it anymore, and she sold it to me. I'm really glad I played it. I got it from her because it has this really beautiful, smooth, covered sound. Yeah, I just really like this ligature. It's very indestructible. It's like very durable. But I really like this ligature. Last but not least, this ligature is one of the newer ones that I've discovered online, called the Silverstein. And when I first looked at this ligature, I had an impression like, oh, well, this material kind of reminds me of the Rogner, so maybe it'll also have like a really smooth, covered sound. But when I played on it, it was actually really free blowing, and it was very brilliant in a way, which was really surprising just based on looking at it, not playing on it. And it's extremely even throughout the registers, and it looks pretty cool. This material, I think they said that it's what they use in NASA, this material for like spaceships or something. It's really cool. The design is really interesting. I don't know if you can see it, but there's the screw right here, and then this side, the rope goes in inward, and then out here, the rope is on the outside. So it's kind of like when you screw it, it goes in like this, which is kind of cool. So yeah, these are the ligatures that I just tried out recently, and hope you enjoy, and see you soon. And if you want to share your thoughts, go ahead. Thanks.